certainly involved in one now against ISIS, the so-called Islamic State, in Iraq and Syria. And it's not true what Mr. Mulcair says. Not a few NATO allies. All of our NATO allies support this. And not only our NATO allies, virtually all of the countries of the region, a Muslim region, support this.
To Canada's debt. And these values, Mr. Harper's plan clearly isn't working.
In the next referendum.
While I'm at it,
Paul, if I can, Paul, look, I'm not going to question Mr. Mulcair's position as a longtime Federalist. That is clear. What I think I do question, along with Mr. Trudeau, is why bring up a debate of the Clarity Act other than to satisfy the separatist elements within the NDP in Quebec? Nobody's talking about that. You know, we just had Quebecers massively reject that agenda. Nobody wants to raise this. Why would we go down the route of talking about how we can best break up the country when, in fact, Quebecers clearly do not want to do that?
Well,
I don't understand it.
That's a fundamental breach of the rules of natural justice, and that's why
do
the
you
public
oppose
doesn't
the
trust them
pipeline?
anymore.
Do you
See,
oppose
here's
the
the
pipeline
difference.
and the tankers?
Opposing these pipelines systematically in advance is just as wrong as supporting them in advance, because in both cases what you need is an objective study.
So you just said that the
in
process
the case
is
of
flawed,
energies,
but we should wait for it yourself?
A country that is strong not in spite of our differences, but because of them. The world needs more of both those things. And after 10 years of Mr. Harper, so do we.
Thank you, Mr.
That's why I'm in this. That's why I want to be your Prime Minister. I don't know what Mr. Harper's talking about in terms of that.
Actually,
Energy East
Mr.
is
Trudeau
still about
said
energy.
exactly the opposite in an interview with Radio Canada in Rimouski last fall, and it's easy to find that quote online.
I'm still not sure where you stand on Kinder Morgan, because it's pretty straightforward.
We support being part of the coalition against ISIL. We simply disagree that a bombing mission is the right way to go about it. When a Prime Minister chooses to send men and women of the Canadian forces into harm's way, there has to be a clear plan, there has to be a clear expectation of success, and there has to be a reasonable justification of the specific action Canada's taking. Not just, these people are bad, therefore we need to do something, it doesn't really matter what. It means that we have to be thoughtful, because our allies and, quite frankly, Canadians expect us to be thoughtful.
It is a threat to the entire region and a threat to the entire globe. It has singled out Canada and Canadians by name and has demonstrated the ability to carry out attacks in countries like ours. It would be absolutely foolish for us not to go after this group before they come after us.
We will continue to be productive and constructive in not pretending that there's a political choice to be made. Perhaps it was naive.